Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast to guide you home into your human journey here on Earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard, and it is my delight to co-create with Gaia and share our messages from Source in this now moment. Here we go. Episode 452. It is a Friday here in Cincinnati, and it is gray and rainy outside. I am coming to you after 3 days with no voice. Last week on the Gaia's Love episode 451, I declared that I was going to speak more clearly, more boldly, and I was going to create an episode every week from last week through when Pluto moves into Aquarius in January of next year. What often happens when we make declarations to ourselves, to the universe, is that we have to come into full alignment with them. And so I have been very quiet this week. I have been listening more than I have been speaking. I have been sitting in my heart space and feeling, deeply feeling what is happening on our planet, what is happening in my life, what is happening in my heart. And so I don't know that I have huge words of wisdom for anybody at this time. I feel like the work, the healing is happening in our own individual hearts. It's when we sit with what we are feeling, with the places where inside of ourselves we know we have a match to something that we are seeing playing out in the collective humanity. That's a hard statement to say, to receive, to sit with, because there are some horrendous experiences being lived out right now on our planet. And the ways that humanity as a whole, but individual humans are treating other individual humans is heartbreaking. It exposes through technology, this beautiful gift of technology that allows me to send this transmission of love and energy out to you. That same technology also shows us the shadow side, the places where we don't want to look, and it would be easier to not look. So this podcast that I created years ago, that has lots of words in it, lots of frequencies being transmitted over many, many years. This podcast was created with the intention of really tuning into the love that our planet, our consciousness of Gaia has for humanity, so that we could remember that we are partners. We are one whole experience that is human life on this planet of Earth. What we are doing to each other is really showing what we are capable of doing to ourselves. What we are playing out is what we are willing to do to our planet, to consciousness, to creation. It's so hard to put words to emotions, and I'm feeling a lot right now. I know many people are feeling a lot, and I have the privilege of being able to sit and safely share what I'm experiencing, what I'm feeling. I have the spaciousness of time, the safety of a home that I can create in, the gift of being able to nourish my body and rest when I need to, of being held through that. And so I sit in this privilege with great awareness of it, and with this commitment to keep my heart open, even when it would be much easier to close it, to protect it, to pull back, to not share, to take back what I said last week and just have my own experience. I feel like the way that we will heal our planet is going to be through heart healing, through our own individual time spent with our hearts, and then through showing up with open hearts and magnetizing towards us those who also have a similar frequency of deep love and reverence for the human experience, deep love and reverence for this planet that allows us to play out all of these realities simultaneously, and deep reverence for the desire for this human realm to continue, for this human experience to perhaps find its way to a place of harmony, a place maybe one day of unity, where there's no more need to play out the stories that we are seeing on our phones, our laptops, TVs. So I'm shifting how I want to be in this podcast space. I don't think we need as many words. And I know that a podcast is meant to be a transmission of words. I feel a shift in the way that I am using this creative space I call Gaia's Love podcast. It is more than ever a transmission of energy. It is a heart coherence that is so strong within my own heart, that is so interwoven and connected with the heart, the consciousness of our planet. Gaia's love is a frequency. And in this space, I am transmitting that frequency, that energy, through my eyes when I look at the camera at you, through my voice when I speak into this microphone, knowing it's going to go into a technological vortex that will create an audio, that will give you sounds that you will hear. And then the consciousness that runs beyond the voice and the audio. The thread of consciousness that connects us even when there's no podcast. The beauty of the podcast space is that when you tune in, you tune right into the moment as I was creating it. We synchronize, we dissolve time and space, and we synchronize frequencies because it's captured in a file that is able to be met at your end of the file. So these are going to be shorter episodes. My intention is 15 minutes. We'll see how I do with that. Maybe some weeks it will be a little more. Maybe some a little less. But what you're going to receive when you sit in the space of Gaia's love with me is a heart coherence. A transmission of love that is so big and so wide, that is beyond me, the human, this flawed individual who barely can use words today, but the immense heart that sits in this human, and the immense love that sits in consciousness within humanity that we all have. When we watch people hurt each other, it's because someone originally was hurt. There was a wound that created a wound that made someone want to wound. And we keep hot potatoing the wound from one to another. And so the only work we can do is in our own heart. It's in our own consciousness. And we can sit in that work. We can sit in the places in our heart that are painful, that hurt. And we can transmute them. by sitting in our heart, we can transmute the pain. When we sit with others who are doing it in that self-responsible, self-guided way, when we sit in community like we are in this moment, in this broadcast of love transmission that I'm sending, when we sit together in our heart space and we love ourselves like deeply, all the way back through all the wounding, all the way back through all the stories that our minds have held on to and remind us of when we want to open our heart. They're like, don't do that. Remember what happened last time, and the 5 times before that, and the 20 times before that. Don't do that again. Look at what you see playing out on TV. It's not safe to love. When we sit in our heart space, and I share this transmission with you of this is the safest place to be, is your own heart, because you can love you better than anybody else, better than I could love you, better than anyone who's ever wounded you could ever come back and love you again. When you can sit in your own heart space and love all the way back through all the wounds, and just like start to unravel, start to dissolve the stories, the pain. When you can allow yourself to be held in the love of Gaia, this incredible planet that just consistently nourishes us, that holds the consciousness for all of us to play out whatever reality we're going to come here to experience. When you allow yourself to be held by Gaia's love, it's not quite so scary to be in our own heart chakra. The soundtrack that I have running underneath my voice in this space is from the ocean, recorded when I was sitting in Costa Rica with my daughter years ago. It's the sound of Gaia's love. Let that hold you. Being in our heart is an experience. It's not our minds. It's an experience. We feel it. And it sometimes takes putting aside time and tasks, other people's needs and voices, and just being in your heart. It may take a while. It may become a physical experience. You may cry. You may lose your voice. You may find your voice. You may need to be held. You may need to be by yourself. Maybe you need to go walk with Gaia. Healing, it takes attention, it takes time. But I believe humanity is on the path to healing. So I'm going to keep showing up with my very open heart. And I'm going to keep transmitting these frequencies out. And I'm going to sit with you. Star says we're done. Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.